Hello everyone and welcome back to another scene tutorial video. Today I am gonna show you how you create entities. So you're gonna hit the add entity and you can see you can choose between the different modules here. That could be very interesting if you are working on a mod. You could have your own and only use the assets for the mod. So for files, this is a very smart tool to actually find things that could be interesting. So you can see there's all these types of different what should we call it, assets for various things. So we have Valandian castles. Let's try and find some rocks like this. So we have all sorts of type of rocks here. Very nice. So let's try and create a sort of rock texture here. Now this looks a little big, but first we have to turn the rock. So you hold down the Z button and you can turn it around. You have to release the button to set it for certain things. If you want the rock here to go up or down, you hold down the T and you can move the rock up and down. If you want to scale the rock and make it a little smaller, you hold down B. So you can either make it smaller, much bigger. It's up to you. Now you can also tilt the rock, which might be interesting for an asset like this. Probably not as much for castles and other sorts of buildings, but you can do that, and you can try and make it more even, and if you add some more rocks or just make it go down, it would fit a little better to the terrain. And you can also use the C key to tilt the other way. So let's try and make this rock come nice and smoothly into the side of this little hill. So we want to make it like that and then stick out a bit here. Maybe a little larger there. Yeah, that could go. Yeah, let's try something like that. Now that looks pretty interesting on its own, but I think this little rock needs a friend. Yeah, let's try this. Maybe a little smaller. Make it go down a little. And I think it's very nice to set it here. So you can see there's some texture. Damn, rock wants to go away. There's some texture down here, which will be very interesting for the next video, I think, because I'm gonna show you how you blend objects, entities with texture, terrain. I think that's a very good way to make the rocks look more natural. I mean, when you look here, this doesn't look very nice, at least not in my opinion. Maybe you think it does, but I think we can improve that, and we will do that in the next video. So if we go back here, just improving. Oh, yeah, you have to select the paint to actually paint. Let's try this. Now, one thing you will notice is that if you simply texture here, the grass will stay, but that's actually because there is still the same texture below this. So if you want this grass to go away, you would have to erase it. I'm going to show you in a moment. But first we will find a proper place. Yeah, perhaps that's a fine place. So right now, below this, we have this flora, tree, aspen mix, and so on texture here. You can probably not see it because it's below the new pebbles layer, but we have erase selected, so we are gonna remove the texture, and you can see the grass disappeared. Very nice and very easy. Now let's try and add some pebbles here. Nice. Alright, so we have added some rocks, and I think it looks pretty cool. So let's go back down here before the island, and let's try and add a bridge. I think that will be interesting. Actually, maybe let's make a bridge over here. Yeah, I think we can make a bridge here. Maybe here, actually. There's a nice spot for a crossing. So let's try and see if we can find a bridge. Castle bridge. Let's take this one. Alright, so we have found our bridge, and let's say we wanted to go from here to here. Now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do like before. We hold down the Z key and turn it a little. Now we wanted to have a smooth transition from bridge to terrain, so it's not all bumpy. So something, yeah, maybe something like that. And we are gonna continue the bridge. Obviously it's not long enough to come across. You could use the B key and increase the size, but one thing to remember here is that it would not only make the bridge longer, it would also make it wider. There is a way to only increase it size-wise in length, and I will show you that in a moment, but personally I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think the results looks so good, because it sort of stretches the texture, and if you do it a lot you can actually see that. So I think that's a pretty good blend between the two bridges. You wouldn't really notice that it's two different entities here. Now that's probably a minor problem here, but I think we can find a solution for that. Let's try and make a little hill here. Now something like that would do it. How about that? So we use the shortcut and hold down shift, and now we are smoothing the terrain. Very nice. Yes. Still not perfect. That's a little annoying. Yeah, something like that perhaps. Yes. Now the river is not very deep, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have a bridge perhaps. But how about we make it a little deeper? Now it makes more sense to actually cross a bridge to get to the island. Now that is a damn fine bridge, isn't it? And how about we actually try and, you know, make it look a little nice. Make a little full sort of a riverbed here. Something like that. And you can choose whatever texture that you like for this. I haven't actually been playing a lot around with the pebbles, but I think normally I would probably choose some type of dirt with rocks, at least between these two layers. Maybe we can find something. On next video I can show you how to better blend between textures like this, because there's actually a way you can make it look far smoother than this. So what we've done today is we've created this bridge, and I've shown you how you create a forest like this. Very easy and very simple. And I've shown you the parallax lighting setting for textures that makes it look far more alive. And we have placed some rocks, and I have spin them around and scale them up and down and so forth. So the last thing I am going to show you, actually we might want to do something here before I do that. Let's just, we're not going to keep that, it's just a little thing we're going to use now. Now what I'm going to show you now is testing. Perhaps we should save first. I recommend that. Do it as much as you can, because the scene editor has a tendency to crash occasionally, at least if you do some crazy things that could cause your computer to sort of give up and not actually do whatever it should. So we're going to test, and you are gonna there have been an update to the scene editor, so this should work right now, but I don't really trust that, so we should hit start mission as instead. And yes, we want to save. We just did, but let's just do it again. Now you could use the conversation mission for editor, facial animation test, or simple mounted player. We want to hit that. Now this will make us a Azeri cavalry unit with throwing spears and a normal spear and a little sword. Now you will notice that we spawn at the edge of the map behind this mountain. I think it's testing actually sort of gives you an idea about the scale of the map. So there's not a lot of sound inside the game right now. I turned it down, but perhaps I should turn it up for the next video. But what we are going to do now is just try and head over to our island and see how it looks when you get up close, and also how the transition from the bridge to the land is, and if there's any sort of clipping between the two bridges here, or perhaps we get stuck when we try to move from one to the other. Looks pretty smooth. We could improve this, and I recommend people do that, and perhaps create another texture with a path. So just to illustrate that people have actually used the bridge, and this is not the first time. That would be a little weird. So you can sort of see the parallax lighting setting in place here for the pebbles. It looks much better than without it, no doubt there. So yeah, I think this is a very fast and pretty cool way to create a little forest. And now you don't want the that sort of thing. I think the grass can sort of clip, and times with rocks you probably want that not to happen, but I think a bush inside a rock does not look very pleasing for the eye. So we could remove the the flora texture below here to make sure it disappears. And if you really want a bush, you can just place it right after, without a layer. I think this is pretty cool. It's a nice little island. So when you want to go back, you just hit tab. Very nice, very easy, and we are back. Now let's try and improve the island a bit, just to give you an idea what I was talking about before. So we go back to the paint terrain layer, and you find the whatever layer you have created for your forest, grass, shrubbery thing, and we have to remember to select erase, and let's try and see if we can remove this damn bush. Apparently not. What is wrong? Oh, how the hell does it do that? Alright, that's gone, and that one is gone, and that one is gone. Yes, very nice. Yes. And you just have to do this a little. I think it's alright for... Nah, perhaps not there. I guess that's okay. I think this is alright. I don't see a problem with that. Perhaps that's a problem. Yes. One thing you may notice is that it sort of changes if you begin to remove a lot of the texture. So keep that in mind. Now let's say we actually like these bushes and we want them to sort of cover the top transition from rock to terrain. So we go inside the paint flora and we try to find whatever bush we want. I think this looks pretty cool, and you just click, and the smaller you make the brush, the closer to the center of the brush the bush will actually be placed. No, I don't like that one actually. I think that's better. Just slightly. Yeah, and you can do this with whatever you like. Actually, you could place rocks. You could place more trees if you want that. Maybe you want a tree up here that sort of has the same vibe to it. Alright, so I think that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you haven't watched the first video and find this to be a little complex, go ahead and watch that. It's a very basic one where you learn how to move the camera around and how you make textures, and how you make a mountain like we have done back here. Or perhaps you want to increase the water level, or to create a river like this. Go ahead and watch that. In the next video I am gonna go a little more into how you can improve your textures and make them sort of blend more. I'm gonna go into the mesh blending tool, so we will have a much smoother transition between the rocks here and the terrain. And I'm probably gonna cover some more, but yeah, stay around and you will find out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.